Yes, Mr. Chairman, of course, I'm very, very happy to be here at Sunderland. Yeah, I agree. It's not been the best start, but we did just beat Watford and they were first in the league, so there's some positives to it, I guess. Yeah, I realise I look absolutely ridiculous and I'm not wearing a suit. What is it with chairmans and suit? I get I'm not wearing a suit, but quite frankly, have you seen how far north you are? I'm from Plymouth. You're practically in Scotland. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our 0 to Hero series, where we are playing with Sunderland, our fourth. Is this our fourth club of the series? I believe it is. Taunton, Grimsby, Forest Green, and then Sunderland. Our fourth club of the series. Honestly, I'm a great manager. I know exactly what I'm doing. Today we are going to be facing Coventry and Huddersfield in the league, and since you were last with me on our first few games, it's been some iffy form, but we do seem to be turning it around. You probably just heard me say that to the chairman. Obviously, the last match on the channel was the match against Preston. We then went and beat Luton 3-0 before losing 3 games on the trot to end December. But January's come round. We've switched around our formation a little bit. You can't really see it here, but we've tweaked it a bit. We drew against Blackpool. We then beat Wickham 2-1 in the FA Cup third round. And we've most recently beat both Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 and Watford, who are top of the league, 1-0 as well. Today it's Coventry, who are 9th, and then Huddersfield, who are 18th. So down in our neck of the woods, Sunderland at the moment, after those most recent wins, does mean that we are in 20th place. We've got a game in hand on Reading as well, and we're just 2 points outside of the relegation zone. Because we're in January as well, we have started making some transfers, mostly on the outside rather than the inside. Sofian Keelan, I have no idea how to say your name, there's a reason you were leaving. Our 30-year-old right winger has gone over to some team in Belgium, who I'm not going to try and pronounce, for 4.1 million, which I feel was a pretty good fee for someone that Sunderland got on a free 2 seasons ago and really has never performed that well. We don't see a lot of that transfer budget. In fact, we only see 55% of our transfer revenue due to the agreement in place with the board. And I think we paid about 1 million to a previous club as well. So it didn't really add a lot to the transfer budget. Ash McCarthy has gone as well. He did have the potential to end up being a very good player, but he was a moany git, so he's ended up going. Dimitris Pelkas, our 34-year-old Greek left winger, has also left the club. He's gone over to Dynamo in Croatia for 325,000. Carlos Gregory, one of our youth players, our 22-year-old central midfielder that was never going to play for the club, has just left to go and join Wickham for 12,000, and we've sent someone out on loan. On the inside, it's just the one player in on loan at the moment, Tayo Adaramola, I guess you'd say that, who is going to be primarily playing as our left back. He can play a little bit further up the field, but he'll probably never do it. He's on loan from Crystal Palace. This is a deal that our director of football actually put in place, so that's interesting. His contract also ends in 5 months with Crystal Palace, so there's always the potential, if he's really, really good, that we could end up nicking him on a free. Our main struggle at the moment is a lack of goals. We just don't seem to be able to score a lot. As you saw in the most recent games, it's very, very narrow 1-0 wins when we do win. As such, we've gone after a couple of players. The main one we're looking at the moment is a 20-year-old Norwegian going to be striker. I know it says he's a left winger. He's not. He's a striker. Magne Hansen, because look at this as an advanced forward. Absolutely blistering pace, acceleration and agility. And he's pretty good at finishing as well. This holy trinity, as I call it here, looking pretty nice. He's currently playing in Norway, where he scored 8 goals this season and 10 goals last season. But I'm hoping he can do a little bit better than our current crop of strikers. We're also looking to bring in Peter Sand for the future. And our director of football again has just made a bid for Santiago Ascabar. I have no idea how to say names, which we probably need because we don't have a lot of depth in midfield at the moment. This is going to be our lineup for our first match against Coventry, though. It is Patterson in goal, who, by the way, fantastic goalkeeper. We've then got Loney Adaramola. Adamola, just say it quickly, James. Adamola at left back. We've then got Mbete, Ballard in the centre of defence, and then Sekete over on the right. We're playing, as you can see, a 4-3-3 now. Howie is in the defensive midfielder position. We've then got Harry White alongside Jay Matete. We've got Jaden Anthony over on the left wing, Lang over on the right wing, and Emerson remaining up front for today. It would normally be Clark over on that right wing, but he's just not quite fully fit enough yet. After that match against Watford, it was a long battle of a game that we just came out on top, but it was only just. And I do wonder if we can kind of keep that good form in place, or if we're going to like face Coventry today and all of a sudden realise we're still not that good a team. We definitely struggle. I said when we joined the club and we kind of had a look at them that we weren't really sure how they were struggling. I'm still not sure how we're struggling exactly, but there's a complete lack of team coherence. The team that are here are a mixture of Championship team, League One, League Two, and National League standard players, which really doesn't help things. And we've just been carved apart here early on against Coventry. Patterson there to save our blushes once again. He is all important. Anthony with a corner here into Emerson, who does get his head to it, but doesn't manage to add to his tally of 3 whole goals this season, which is not great as a striker. As I said, we're struggling to score. We're trying to sort it out. We are going to be spending, in theory, a lot of money on a striker. I say a lot of money. It's about £1 million, which probably in the Championship is not all that big of money. But when you have literally no transfer budget, it's quite a lot of money. You can kind of see when we had a look at the transfers a minute ago, possibly what the problem is. £5 million of players out this season, and we've so far spent exactly £0 on any players in. Lang here is bearing down on goal, decides to take a shot for himself rather than passing it forward, and it comes to nothing on this occasion. We just want to keep an eye. We probably need to scroll down on that league table. We're looking at the top half because that's where we used to be with the likes of Taunton and Forest Green. But realistically, I don't think we're getting anywhere near the top half with Sunderland this season. We have, though, just been awarded a penalty, and it should be White, the man going to step up and take it. Rolls up his sleeves or his socks, or rolls up some part of his clothing and does put it away to make it 1-0 to us. And his 3rd goal of the season. I think they have all been penalties. I think one of them was in the most recent match against Sheffield Wednesday, in fact, which is how we won that one 1-0, because we're definitely not getting them from open play. The one against Watford was from a free kick. Open play wise, I don't think our boys actually know where the goal is. Hopefully new striker boy can come in and change that one, but we've gone up the other end and conceded almost instantly against Coventry. We should be better defensively, I feel, with Ballard and Mbete. It's very much this season. We're not expecting a lot in this first season. It's let's try and avoid relegation by hook, by crook, or by putting players on the never when we do transfers just to get them through the door. And then next season, in the summer transfer window, we rebuild properly. We bring in a team in our image like we did at Forest Green, the likes of Nightingale and Suckdy and those sorts of players that are young, good enough to play for the team now and have bags and bags of potential for the future, because I just don't think this team's going to cut it. You can already see with our transfers this window, if you're 30 or above, we're happy to get rid of you and try and bring in someone younger, someone that's got a little bit of passion and desire and a bit of fire in their belly and wants to do well for the team, because clearly the players here at the moment aren't fighting for the shirt, shall we put it. Coventry here have managed to regain possession in this highlight and are holding on to the ball. But it's just a little bit scary every time another team has the ball now. We definitely have to stay positive when we're playing in our mentality. Balance not working at all with this team. Cautious, absolutely not. You get absolutely battered. And attacking's a little bit too much. Emerson has managed to regain possession here. Pass it back and now he's through on goal. And Emerson does manage to actually score a goal. He does know where it is. He is a striker. He's remembered that he plays as a striker. And that is 2-1 to us. us today against Coventry. That was actually some really good pressing from him to regain possession there, pass it back to Jaden Anthony, who just first time plays it over the top of the defence, and Emerson managing to calmly slot that one away. Maybe Emerson, now he scored 2 of his 4 goals in a match recently. I can't remember who it was against. I think it was probably against Wickham, who are in League 2. But since he got that goal, he does look a little bit more energetic up front, like he's regained some confidence, and maybe he'll start actually scoring now. Or again, maybe we'll bring in a young Norwegian striker and he'll never play for the club again. Matete here, playing this one through to Jaden Anthony, who's definitely one of our better players, into the box. He does have a shot, but he does also pull it over the crossbar, and really should probably do a little bit better there. And now Lang is injured. Right, Lang's going to have to come off. We'll bring Jack Clark on. Everyone else, I think, can stay on for the moment, so we'll just make that one substitution due to the injury. If this would stay down here, it'd be lovely. We are currently in 19th place, which is pretty much where we started, but it is a little bit further away from the relegation zone, which is ideal if we're going to be avoiding relegation this season. We're going to have to pick up these occasional 3 points on the road. Not that we're on the road today. We are actually at home. You get what I mean. You get the point. Oh, this was also another one. Why I see him. Robbie Liddington, who was one of our players, but he was on loan at Portsmouth, so we've recalled him from his loan because he looks reasonable enough to cover over at left back when we need him to. So we've just brought him in the hopes of adding some squad depth. We have got quite a vast under-21 and under-18s team as well. So it is definitely not too much of an issue not having squad depth. But if you look at the development centre, there's bags and bags of potential, but not a lot of team, or not a lot of squad players that are actually ready for this league at the moment. They're all sort of national level at best currently. We're trying to get some of them out on loan to get them some game time and hopefully be ready for maybe not next season, maybe the season after, or maybe we have a look at them and realise they're not going to get to this level and they wouldn't be suited for the Premiership, and we can just make a little bit of money on them because there's definitely not a lot of money banging around Sunderland at the moment. I'm still scared of that projection in 3 years of losing £70 million, but we also need to try and, oh, for goodness sake. We also need to try and keep the team in the league this season, which does mean going out and spending on players. I feel like we've sold enough, though, that we're going to have bought in less than what we've sold. And as I mentioned, we only get 55% of the transfer revenue, so it is going back into financing the club. Patterson, who's normally so solid, just let down a little bit there, managed to get a hand to it, doesn't manage to keep it out. It is now 2-2. If we could go and grab a really late goal, that would be lovely, but as I mentioned, we don't really score a lot from open play. The goal by Emerson today was very much a rarity. Thompson over to Clark, though. This right hand side is completely fresh. Clark tries to cross it in, I think. Or did he try and have a shot? Either way, it's saved by the goalkeeper. And now we are going to have a corner a little bit better from set pieces. So maybe if we're going to grab a goal, it's probably going to have to be here. Jaden Anthony's taking all the time in the world here. I mean, I guess we are happy to settle for a draw. I'd rather go and try and get a win, though. But that corner, pretty rubbish, as it turns out. It does mean we dropped down to 20th, I think that was, when we just had a look. Let's have a quick look-see at that. 20th place. We are outside the relegation zone, but everyone else does have a game in hand, so it's kind of going to depend how they play. Club-wise, if we have a look at this, the board are pleased with how we're doing at the moment because we're avoiding relegation. The supporters I'm still a little bit scared of because they're happy we're avoiding relegation but still expect us to record a top half finish, and we're not going to record a top half finish this year. It's just not going to happen. Callum Lang's out for 3 to 4 weeks. That's a little bit of an issue. Daniel Ballard being tired is a little bit of an issue. he's going to be rested for the next game now. We're going to just go straight over to that game against Huddersfield. You can see it's only in a couple of days. Maybe we'll have some new players in by then. And we have indeed got a new signing. And actually, he's even better once he's joined than what our scouting report suggested he would be. Magne Hansen, we're going to be playing him as an advanced forward. All of his attributes are still the same, but he's now 3.5 star. And potentially a Premier League standard player, and he's only 20 years old. He reminds me of someone else from Norway. Hopefully, he can be as effective as him as well. And we're not really, in the grand scheme of things, we're paying £12,000 a week, which slightly high. His transfer value already has shot up, though. The only problem with that is he does have a minimum fee release clause to domestic clubs in higher division for 9 million. And he's already kind of that transfer value. So it might be he's not around very long. But if he can come in and make an immediate impact, that would be like Peter Sands is about to join us as well. Let's see if the scouting department have done as well with Peter Sands. No, they haven't. Oh, no. Peter Sands is a miss buy. We'll welcome him anyway. But Peter Sands probably not going to do a lot, really. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's fine because we've got Hansen. And Hansen is going to start from the start against Huddersfield because we really need someone who can score. What we really want here is Hansen to have an Oliver Iro debut for this club where he's going to score 4 goals and it's all going to be wonderful. The lineup is as on follows. We've got Patterson in goal. We've got Toffoli, Liddington, Thompson and Sakete as our back four. Howie, Allardyce and White in midfield. Stewart, Clark and Hansen our front three. We can see there are some tired players in there. There's 1, 2, 3 players that are on the transfer list in there. So goodness knows how they're going to be playing. What number are we going to give him? Let's give him the number 15. The 15 seems like a nice number. I don't know if he'll agree with me, but Hansen, that is the number you're going to get after those couple of transfers as well. When I had a look, we have got about £1 million left in the transfer budget and 2 days left of the transfer window. So hopefully we can bring in some loans on deadline day, maybe a couple of players that are banging around. And we can just improve this team enough that we can survive, because quite clearly, as we can see here, right now, this is not a team that's surviving this season. We've gone for a patch of semi-decent form, but then we can easily slip right back again. I mean, Patterson made a fantastic first save, but then Liddington there just completely ignoring that he is actually meant to defend when there's a player near him. Just ignored that completely. And we have managed to concede a goal as a result. And I know we're away from home today, but if we could get a little bit more control of the game, that would be lovely. Toffoli bringing the ball forward here, passing it over to Stewart, who is playing on the left, which isn't ideal for him. But again, we don't have a huge amount of squad depth. We're going to have to play some players in not ideal positions. Clark now holding this up long enough to try and beat his man. Cross into the box, and it is Hansen. And it's our first touch, at least in a highlight for Hansen. And really, if he'd absolutely whacked that, it was probably going in the back of the net. Toffolo has got a injury as well. Apparently he's bruised his ribs but can play through it. So I guess it is just bruised ribs and not cracked ribs, which we can just about deal with because we don't really want to be taking him off yet unless we absolutely have to. So we're just going to ignore that. Just keeping half an eye down here as well. I mean, we're still outside the relegation zone at the moment, albeit not really by a lot, a point in it at the moment. So if we could go and get even 1 point out of this would be fantastic. I'd hope teams that are 18th like Huddersfield, we could go and get wins against, and then we properly start taking ourselves up the table. I'm not really expecting a lot this season, as I mentioned, but staying completely away relegation back will be nice. Hansen through on goal here, holding it up, pulls it back to Toffoli on the edge of the area, and that attack's kind of fizzled out. We do get a shot away, but it's probably a little bit too late and goes sailing over anyway. I mean, it's not been a horrific first half. Just not been a very good one, and Huddersfield going to kick us off here as we get a highlight straight from kickoff, which I always find moderately concerning. because it does normally mean that something's going to happen. Hopefully, that something is Hansen nicking the ball back and going up the other end and scoring a goal. That would be lovely stuff, but instead Huddersfield are just sort of knocking it around at the back and have now pumped it forward. Liddington there with a great tackle though. Stewart, again, we're just not releasing the ball quick enough. Allardyce now out wide to Clark. Clark, can he play this one forward? He can. Sakete just about losing his man here and has then just sort of stopped. Allowed them to catch up. Toffio, though, has just scored his first goal of the season. He is on the transfer list, but we will take goals like that all day long. That is a lovely, lovely goal to get us back in that. And that makes the huge, horrendously long highlight all worth it. Sakete there crossing it to a completely unmarked Toffio. And look at that. Great goal. Great composure there, to be honest, for a left-back that really isn't good enough for this level as well. And we are now back on level terms. White with a free kick, looking for someone at the far post. I think it's Clark. But it is Huddersfield that have come away with the ball. We've tried to make a tackle. Who was that? Come here. Allardyce tries to make a tackle and basically falls over. And now Huddersfield trying to get the ball forward and managing it quite well. We must say, quite well. We're not really doing too much to hassle them. Oh, this Sunderland team is going to give me some sort of heart attack by the end of the season. This is obscenely difficult. Grimsby was hard. This is obscenely difficult. My one sort of thing in the back of my mind here is we've only got to get through this half a season, and then hopefully we have a little bit of money. We can sell on the players we don't want, and we can rebuild this team. And I think it is good enough to rebuild this team. Huddersfield have just gone down to 10 men after that tackle on Hansen. Right. That we need to take these opportunities. So let's make some substitutions. Pablo Mari can come on here as the ball-winning midfielder. Sakete's tired now. Thompson can go out there and oh no, he can't. Oh, this is the problem with the squad depth. I mean, Harvey White and Allardyce are both tired as well. Matete can come on for White, I think. Jack Clark, sorry, can come off. Let's bring on, I mean, who do we bring on here? Let's bring on Evan Robinson. For you who haven't seen him yet, which is all of you. He's one of our youth players. He looks like he'll end up quite good. So we're just using him as a little bit of a rotation option at the moment. We'll do that. And we are going to go attacking as well. And just confirm those changes. Go attacking for the last 20 minutes. Hopefully we go and grab a goal, grab a late goal through Hansen. That would be lovely. We want Hansen to score on his debut. Hansen's very important. Who have we got standing over this? It is Adramola, our on loan left back, standing over the free kick, which is an interesting choice because I don't remember him having particularly good set piece taking. Maybe there's just no one else on the pitch. I mean, he's clattered the crossbar there, so maybe he does have good set piece taking. It was actually a pretty good shot, and unlucky that it didn't go in. Sakete now holding up the ball, passes it in, end of the highlight. Thompson with the corner though, looking for that far post, and it has just been nodded away. Going out, it's not going out. Huddersfield have managed to keep it in and are launching a counter attack here. We need to stop this before it even starts, please, boys. Come on now. Robson doing his best to trek back and actually do his defensive duties, and Hansen has managed to put in a tackle, and now Hansen has just been brought down in the box, pulls everything. I've just realised I haven't checked the set pieces. Is Hansen any good at penalties? He's not any good at penalties. Where even is he? Oh, I mean, that's not really great, is it? 5 penalty taken, so we'll just ignore that. And somebody else can take this penalty. Who's it going to be? It is Thompson. Oh, again, I feel like he's got penalty taking of about 6. Never mind. It doesn't matter. That's his second goal of the season. He was never going to miss that. We never doubted him. We were 100% confident in Thompson. And he stepped up there and proven that we had every right to be confident in his 13 penalty taking. I take it back. It's actually pretty good. And now we just need to not concede for the last 2 or 3 minutes or so as we stay on the attack. And it's been a pretty good 3 or 4 games, a pretty good January for Sunderland. Where actually, I don't know, we would have lost a game. I can't remember if we've lost in January or not. I mean, if we go January unbeaten, that feels like a real turnaround in the season for this team. Sakete just going to bring the ball forward now, and now pass it forward for Robson. Robson not quite got the pace there to get there. I think he cut inside, expecting the ball to be there, and it was just played very straight down the line. Matete now into Stewart, and Ross Stewart gets his 9th goal of the season. Still our top goal scorer, despite the fact that he's barely starting. When you put him up front, he doesn't want to score. He's very tall, is Ross Stewart. That's basically how he got his goals. He's very, very tall, and if you put him at a post, he will get the occasional corner, and sometimes he even gets a couple in a match. But globally, he's not really a very good striking option. He has scored here, though. He's furthered that gap with Huddersfield. It's 3-1. Matete's now injured. This is just not very good, is it? I mean, how do we take you off? I don't even know how to do this. Won't let us take us off because we still have a substitution. I didn't realise. Jaden Anthony coming on there. I mean, he's not really a Mazzala, but he doesn't have broken legs. So he is an improvement on Matete there. And realistically, there's really not a lot left of that game anyway. We're going to praise the team, tell them, well done. That is a really, really important win that keeps us in 19th place on 30 games and 33 points. And we are now 4 points away from the relegation zone. It's looking a lot better than when we got to the club. It obviously could all still fall apart. And if we have a look at our schedule, let's just flip down to the month of January. We have been unbeaten throughout the month of January. We've only, in fact, dropped 4 points. We've only dropped 4 points throughout the month of January. So that is a really good turnaround. Look at it when we got here. Look at it when we've been here for a little while. It's all looking pretty good. And hopefully that good form continues as we head out of the January transfer window and into February. If you have enjoyed today's episode, though, please do drop a like down below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And thank you very much for watching.